Hi friends, thanks for coming back to read with Ms.deDelva. And today we're going to read Pete the Cat Checks Out the Library. Now, Ms.deDelva loves the library because this is where I get all my great books, and I have my own little library in the classroom where I keep all of my Pete the Cat books and all the other books. So, reading is very, very important, and Pete the Cat loves to read. And so Pete the Cat wants you to read with him on the story. So before we start, we have to get two things ready. One, get our communication board that matches the story. So we're going to go and pull it up on your device or print it out, and it says, Pete the Cat checks out the library. The next thing is we have to read our whole body listening rules one more time. Now, good readers can have watching eyes. Touch your eyes. We need to be looking at the story. We need to have listening ears. Touch your ears. We need to be listening to Ms.deDelva's voice and follow directions on what picture to find. We need to have a quiet voice. Shh. Quiet voice when Ms.deDelva is reading. Still body, hands and feet to self or holding your board, okay? Having nice hands with the board, holding it like this, ready to point. And last but not least, we need to have thinking brain. Touch your brain. We need to be thinking about what pictures to find in our story on the board. Okay, we're ready to go now. Pete the Cat checks out the library. Now, where is Pete? Is he on the playground? No. Is he in the lunchroom? No. Pete the Cat is at the library. Can you find library on your board? Yes, good job. Pete's ready to read some books. Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the first time. The librarian, she is the one that helps you find the book you need and check it out at the library. Find the librarian. Good job. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. You know, at school when you get your library folders, but in some libraries you get your own library card. That way you can check out books and they know your name. So Pete got a library card. Find the card. Good job. Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for the tour. Let me fix the book so you can see better. The librarian takes Pete through the library. There is a big desk where people wait to check out books. Can you find the big desk on your board? Good job. Pete sees some of his friends reading at a long table. It is very peaceful and quiet. How relaxing. Look. His friends are reading in a quiet area. Can you find friends reading in a quiet area? You found it. The librarian takes Pete to her favorite room. There are lots of Pete-sized chairs and tables and shelves. There are books of every shape, size, and color. What do I do now? Says Pete. Now you read a book. the librarian says. Which book should I read? Asks Pete. You can read any book you like, says the librarian. Pete looks around. There are so many books. Now Pete is going to check out a book. When you check out a book, you pick the book you want to read and pull it off the shelf. Can you find check out? Good job. Pete picks up a book all about airplanes and jets. You notice that Pete loves space because we read that Pete went to space, right? So can you find a jet? Pete is reading a book about space and jets. Good job. He reads it and pretends he is a pilot. He flies super fast jet and does loop-the-loops and spirals high in the sky. Pete is thinking with his thinking brain about being a pilot. When you read, you can pretend to be someone in the book. Then Pete finds a book about dragons and wizards and unicorns. Pete is reading a book about dragons. Can you find reading about dragons? Good job. He reads it and imagines that he's a powerful wizard using magic spells and special wand to defend the castle against a fire-breathing dragon. Ooh. Now, Pete opens up a book about, what do you think it's going to be about? Let's look at the book. What do you think it's going to be about? Yes, Pete is reading a book about bugs and insects. He is. What is he pretending to be? I think he's pretending to be a scientist. And he is studying all types of bugs and critters in the wild. Pete wants to be a scientist to learn about bugs. Now he's thinking he has to be very still to study some critters and very fast to study others. He is chasing a butterfly. Now Pete is picking a book. All sorts of scary monsters on the cover. It is a book about fairy tales. Can you find fairy tales? He reads it and pretends that he is in a dark, spooky forest trying to outsmart a big, bad wolf. Pete feels scared. Pete puts that book back down on the shelf. It is too scary for Pete to read. He's scared of the wolf. Now, Pete is reading about Egypt. And in Egypt, what can we see? We see a camel. And Pete is thinking about being on top of a pyramid. This shape is a pyramid. Pete's pretending he went to Egypt, a country. Now, where is Pete? He picked a book about the Ocean. Pete is reading now about the ocean. Ms.deDelva loves the ocean. Pete is reading and imagining that he is a scientist in the deep submarine, deep in the Atlantic Ocean, looking for whales and sharks. There are so many wonderful books to read, and Pete can be whatever he imagines with a good book. There is his library card, and there is Pete reading all sorts of different books. Reading is super groovy, says Pete. The end. Thank you for reading with Ms.deDelva. Now, Pete says reading is really groovy. So if you want, you can go on Mayan and pick a favorite book or a subject that you want to read about, and you can act it out and pretend to be that character in the story at home. All right. Bye-bye. See you later.